freedom's the answer. What's the question? You're listening to Ernest Hancock.
Hey Jude, don't make it bad. Take a sad song and make it better.
Yeah, we're going to try and take a sad song and make it better. I mean, if we can learn from a lot of our mistakes in the history of things. You know, you kind of, I don't know if it's worth it or not to go through all this stuff, but there's a lot of pain that a lot of people go through, and if we don't take advantage of learning from the past, then not only are you destined to repeat it, you're just setting yourself up for it to even happen worse. So I want to share this stuff with you. Now, we're up to Evan Meekum coming in, being governor, but you got to, in the context of what's happening here, is that the Arizona Project uncovered a lot of things. What it showed was immigration and drugs were all part of the same kind of club that was making an enormous amount of money on it because it was illegal. Right here where I live now in northwestern Phoenix, the closest mall to me is called Arrowhead Mall. Well, it used to be that entire area before they built homes all over it and everything was citrus groves. What a lot of people don't know, in Arizona, we were number 1, number 2 in cotton. We were number 2 or number 3 in oranges production. It was Florida, California, Arizona, or it would be California, Arizona, Florida, or Florida, Arizona, California, depending on what the weather was there, because it was always pretty consistent here. It's sunshine 300 and something days a year, and all they did was irrigate and water, and they just, you know, you had water, things grow. That's just the way it works here. Enormous, even our state seal, agriculture and mining. So you add to that real estate, and they start taking up a bunch of the agriculture, you know, but the Arrowhead area, you know, this is where the Goldwater family gets involved. There's a lot of other politicians in this and so on. Long story, bottom line this. They would take busloads of immigrant workers from Mexico, just put them on the bus, go across the border, boom, take them up here, work, promise you all kinds, you're going to make money, send back to families, dude, and they work, getting pay them, ship them off, take them back, leave them out in the desert, whatever, you don't get paid, what are you going to do about it? Because they weren't legal. They didn't have any recourse. They didn't speak the language. All they knew is they go pick oranges and I'll give you my money. And they wouldn't get what they were promised, or they promised they'd have it down there. There's a thing called, what'd they call it? Not the maquilador, it was called Busy Hands in Spanish. Can't remember what it was called. But anyway, it was a program that was big during the Reagan administration when he was governor in California. And it was a program by which you could come up here and work, but the money was sent, or a large portion of it, to banks in Mexico, that you would go there. You know, look that up, Sierra. It was Work Program 60s Mexican Workers Banks Mexico, and I bet you it comes up on Google. That's bugging me. What happened was they would ship the money to Mexico, and the incentive was for them to go back to Mexico, and there they have all this money waiting on them. Well, the money wasn't there. They go, hey, well, we sent it, pinky swear. Or the people there go, hey, you know, we didn't get it. And then they just took it and spent it. So all this was going on, taking advantage of these immigrant workers that they thought they're legit, they're cool, they're getting on the bus, they come up here, they go. What they did is, she's writing it down for me, what they did is they went ahead and just blew these people off, and it got to where there was a labor uprising, to where these immigrant workers, they start having people that were, you know, either lived up here, got out of it, they spoke Spanish, and they were living in the orchards and in the groves. They go in, and they would have the people just living amongst them, you know, all their belongings and clothes hang strung out between the trees. God, they're living in the orchards. They do the work. They want to get paid. Yeah, bracero program. I think it means busy hands or something like, I can't remember what. Bracero program, that's what it was called. So they weren't getting paid. They started trying to organize labor. That's why here in Phoenix you got, you know, Hugo Chavez Memorial down there and all this kind of stuff, because, you know, the grape workers in California, and they were kind of, you know, organizing here. But then all of a sudden, people started showing up hanged from telephone poles, from utility poles around the orchards. They'd have them sticking up above the orchards up there, you know, 30, 40 feet high, or however high they are. And there's a guy dead, hanging, saying, this is what we think are you unionizing. Get it? So this is the kind of stuff that was going on. So what happened then is Meekum comes in and so on and distributes this book around telling the story of what all these undercover reporters were finding out and how this system worked in immigration and in the drug trade. Now, a lot of politicians and people that were elected and prominent figures and so on, they were living the high life, but they had some houses that had two-way mirrors in bedrooms where they had them on film having sex with prostitutes and hookers and this and that and so on. They had them under control. Well, they don't do that anymore because that'd be wrong, right? So anyway, so all this is going on. It's starting to come out. They don't want to print this in the local newspaper. You got to have newspapers shipped in from around the country. You didn't have the internet then. So you actually have truckloads of these coming in to read them live on the talk radio, that kind of stuff. All right. And this is before talk radio was big. You know, you had a couple of stations, one or two guys, they were the voice of Arizona. You know, I remember these guys. So, and you got to meet them and work with them even, you know, when I got older. So I'm going, all right. So this information is becoming public. At the time, you have interest in the federal government and in the state government and in politics. They want to keep this little gravy train going, and it's a lot of money. All of a sudden, you have this Romley character. He's, you know, who the heck is he? Well, he's county attorney. He's doing a sting. He brings in, you know, mafioso types from Vegas to be, you know, his front guy and put off this sting going, hey, man, come on in. I give you cash. They're videotaping all this. One legislator after another, after another, after another. This is when I start getting involved as a young man. This was going on in the early 90s. I have already come across a corrupt, I could see they were corrupt. I would give files to reporters, say, look, when this all breaks loose, these guys are the who's who of this. I already know, man, they're scum. And when this happens, you just let me know that, sure enough, it came out in ASCAP, it was a who's who of all these people were. And I was getting them for being scum on other stuff. Heck, they were scum for sale. And I knew that. You know, that sooner or later this stuff comes out. So all of a sudden, they want to talk to me now. How'd you know so much? County Attorney's Office got me in. They want to know how I know so much. I go, let me tell you how much I know. I know enough to know that you're never going to fix it. That's how much I know. Been nice talking to you. Have a nice day. They knew that I knew. This is what was going on. When they went in and it started becoming a gravy train of everybody handing this out, it leaked out somewhere inside politics that this was a sting. Immediately, all of a sudden, the Speaker of the House, which later became governor, Jane D. Hall. I ran against her for Secretary of State in 94. I ran against her for legislature twice. So I already, you know, been done. I'd never brought it up in the campaign though. This had nothing. I don't care about all this little stuff. It's a, you know, philosophy of government in general kind of going after. I don't even mention the other candidate. That's just an opportunity for us to yak about whatever I want to yak about, and all this little ouch-quitted stuff couldn't possibly care less. We're looking to change a culture. Now, what she did as Speaker of the House is they went to Arizona Republic, had them do a report on Saturday morning, front page, watch out, sting underway, run away, run away, run away. And the reporter she had that did this, that was working on this case, later got paid $4,000 a month to be a liaison, a public relations person for the Speaker of the House, for the House Representatives. This is how this works. Oh, there's a lot more.